Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on navigating the opportunity of multi-state compliance. My name is Jordan Sonopoli. I am an account executive here at Harbor Compliance, and I'll be guiding you through today's session. Before we dive in, a few quick housekeeping items. The webinar is being recorded, and you'll receive a copy afterward. Today's presentation is eligible for continuing education credit through Earmark. I'll go over how to get your CE credit at the end of the presentation. We'll be together for about 45 minutes or so today, and I will have time for Q&A at the end. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So introduction to Harbor Compliance. Harbor Compliance is a nationwide provider of registered agent, business registration, licensing services, and software. We also provide extensive nonprofit formation and fundraising compliance solutions to nonprofit organizations through Labyrinth, our nonprofit brand. Why compliance matters. Compliance isn't just a box to check. It's a fundamental requirement. Organizations must follow state and federal regulations to operate. The real challenge is deciding how to meet those requirements in the most efficient, effective way. Apologize for it being so dark here. There's a storm rolling through, so I don't live in a dungeon. So our presentation goals today. Here's what we'll be covering. First, we'll explore the regulatory landscape and its complexities. Next, we'll discuss the interconnected nature of compliance and the trends driving change. Finally, we'll share why outsourcing compliance can free up resources and support your growth. So number one, the compliance landscape. So let's dig into the compliance landscape itself. What compliance really means. Compliance is non-negotiable. Organizations must follow laws and regulations or risk and penalties, losing their right to operate and harming their reputation. Effective compliance hinges on mastering 4 key areas. Those 4 key areas are entity registration, record keeping, licensing, and obligations. Next, the interconnected nature of compliance. Compliance requirements are rarely isolated. For instance, registering for taxes in a new state may trigger the need to register your legal entity there. Similarly, applying for a license often requires proof of existing compliance. A disconnect approach increases inefficiencies and risks, underscoring the importance of integrated compliance management. I'm going to throw up a poll question here before we talk about recent updates. Find my polls. I went ahead and launched that. You can see that. Go ahead and throw in a vote or an answer, I should say. Give this another couple seconds here, maybe another minute. Make sure everybody has a chance to see it and answer if they would like to. All right, I think we're all in who's going to answer here. Poll itself basically showed that regular proactive research is kind of the main answer for this that we were given here. Proactive research is awesome, but there are some that weren't so much on that proactive side. So I'm not going to read through the recent updates. This is just what was the most recent kind of update to New Mexico and Vermont. This would be something that would be shown through our website, through our portal, that will let you know, hey, some changes have been made to New Mexico and Vermont, and then those changes would be listed there as well. So we're going to keep chugging along here, long here. So next, let's discuss the major macroeconomic trends driving regulatory complexity today. So mergers and acquisitions. While higher interest rates have slowed borrowing for some, M&A remains a dominant growth strategy in many sectors, and compliance plays a critical role in the process. Organizations in good standing have a significant advantage. They can acquire or be acquired without delays or complications. But compliance considerations don't stop there. Post-deal steps were like decoding which entities will survive, winding down the subsequent entities, and managing licenses and tax registrations are critical for a smooth transition and long-term success. Next, we'll talk about remote work and multi-state compliance. The shift to remote work has expanded the regulatory footprint of many organizations. While some companies are encouraging a return to office, remote work arrangements are here to stay for many. As employees work from more states, businesses must register to operate in these locations, manage taxes, and ensure proper licensing. I have another poll here for out of state regulations or registration status. I'm gonna go ahead and launch that now. You should be able to see that. Leave that poll open for a little bit. Give you all some time to answer that. Just open for a little bit longer. Give everybody a chance. All right. Go ahead and close that. So I wonder if I can share the results. I don't know where they're at. I don't know if you can see them, but most of you, which is great. You'll likely need to register in a new state within the next 6 months, which is awesome. Growth is where you want to be. So we're going to continue on with sales tax exposure and compliance. So the South Dakota versus Wayfair Inc. decision was a game changer for the sales tax obligations. While it may not have received as much attention as it might have under normal circumstances, given its timing and shortly before the COVID-19 pandemic, its impact has been profound. That said, ignorance of this decision isn't a defense, and enforcement is real. Businesses now face obligations in states where they have no physical presence, requiring proactive attention to avoid penalties. So I think we have another. No, so I'm going to ask you a question here. So you could drop it in the chat, which I believe is open for everybody to comment there. So how would you describe your sales tax registration status? Are you fully registered everywhere you need to be? Are you still figuring things out? Or are you not sure where to start? Drop your answer in the chat. We can address this later on in our presentation to the end. think I had to open the chat. I think now we can see if you want to put any type of status in there or answer to those questions that I posed there. If not, that's cool. We can just keep on chugging along here. All right, we'll go ahead and keep chugging along. If you have anything that you want to add there, you can address it later. So now we're going to move on to increased regulatory reporting requirements. This has been something that we were in front of for a long time. Thought that this was going to be okay. Sorry about that. So BOI was something that we try to get in front of. On average, government red tape only increases over time. Another key trend is increasing proliferation of regulatory reporting requirements. A prime example is the new benefit ownership information reporting requirements brought about to the Corporate Transparency Act that took effect last year. These regulations mandate organizations to disclose their significant ownership details to enhance transparency and accountability. This adds another layer of complexity to an already changing landscape, reinforcing the need for proactive management. As I said, and probably as most of you have seen, as of March 21st of this year, FinCEN announced an interim final rule that domestic reporting companies, otherwise known as businesses formed in the United States, are no longer required to file BOI reports. For now, only foreign reporting companies are required to file. But FinCEN continues to emphasize the importance of BOI reporting. You can check out our last blog post to learn more about that. So multi-state organization. With the rise of remote work, expanding sales tax obligations, and consolidation activity, it's clear that nearly every organization operates across state lines today. Managing regulatory complexity has become a universal challenge that requires a strategic approach. It also means fewer and fewer businesses are able to achieve and maintain comprehensive compliance, meaning those that do are truly differentiated versus the competition. I have another poll, last poll of the day, and go ahead and launch that now. Give this another 30 seconds or so. There's some trickling in here at the end. I don't know if y'all heard that, but that was a pretty close lightning strike. All right, let's go ahead and close that poll. Again, I'm going to try sharing it. I don't know if you can see this, but for the most part, it's kind of a 50-50 split between your registered agent helps you manage them and managing them yourself. Go ahead and stop sharing that. So next up, talk about drawbacks of taking a do-it-yourself approach for compliance. Why compliance shouldn't be a DIY project? Let's admit it. Managing government paperwork isn't exactly a passion project for most people. But here's the thing, we love it. Yes, we are those compliance nerds who get excited about filing deadlines and regulatory nuances, and we embrace it wholeheartedly. We know it's not for everyone, and that's okay. We're here to help everyone that can't stand the thought of doing another filing. Too often, this stuff falls on the plate of an overworked admin or a team member who already has a full-time job. It can be a little thankless and a lot tedious, but here's the good news. We're on your side, ready to partner with you to lighten the load and make the process more manageable. Dare we say, maybe even enjoyable for you. We handle the details so your team can get back to the work you actually care about. Leveraging specialized enterprise and compliance. Accountants and attorneys are rock stars in their fields, whether it's navigating complex tax strategies or providing an invaluable legal counsel. Well, let's face it, multi-state compliance, that's not exactly their idea of a good time. They'll probably thank you for sparing them the headache of keeping up with regulatory technicalities and letting them focus on what they excel at. And for any accountants or attorneys joining us on today's webinar, first, thanks for being here. If you ever dreamed of offloading those regulatory tasks to someone you trust, we'd love to chat. We specialize in the nitty gritty, so you can stick to what you know best and enjoy the process a whole lot more. The hidden cost of delayed compliance. Procrastinating on compliance may not seem like a big deal until you're in the middle of a fire drill. These last minute scrambles often occur at the worst times, like right before a major bid on an expansion opportunity, and if someone slips through the cracks. The consequences can be severe. Falling out of good standing or facing licenses issues can disrupt operations entirely with costly delays. But it's not just the business at risk here. These crises take a toll on your team. The stress of constant firefighting, especially for employees who already wear too many hats, it leads to burnout, frustration, and inefficiency. Proactive compliance management just isn't about avoiding business risks. It's about fostering a healthier, more sustainable work environment for you and your team. We'll talk here about the strategic partnership advantage. Harbor Compliance delivers unmatched expertise in multi-state compliance, from purpose-built technology to extensive requirements data and proven multi-state expertise. We ensure your compliance needs are handled seamlessly. Through our strategic partnerships with accountants and attorneys, we provide a comprehensive strategy for your organization. By partnering with compliance experts, your organization can avoid last-minute crises, maintain smooth operations, and ensure uninterrupted growth. Imagine being able to hire that perfect candidate in any state without hesitation. Confidently bid on projects across jurisdictions, knowing you'll meet all the requirements. And expand your product offerings to new markets without fear of tax complications. A strategic approach to compliance is not just about avoiding penalties. It's about creating a stable foundation that empowers your business to say yes to opportunities the moment that they arise. When compliance is handled proactively, you're free to focus on what matters the most to you, growing your business. Hiring an employee in a new state. So let's take a look at the routine process for a multi-state business hiring an employee in a new jurisdiction for the first time. Hiring a new employee might sound straightforward, but ensuring they can be paid requires opening payroll tax accounts in their jurisdiction. The process often lands on HR, but it's really a tax compliance task. HR teams find themselves in the middle, coordinating with payroll providers, accounting and finance, and sometimes external accounting firms. Relying on a compliance partner like Harbor Compliance with expertise, with experience opening payroll tax accounts in every state can make the process far more smoother for you. First-hand knowledge of the process allows them to navigate jurisdiction-specific requirements, minimize delays, and significantly reduce the risk of mistakes. The right partner will handle the heavy lifting. So all your team needs to do is provide the new account numbers to your payroll provider. With a proactive compliance management approach, you can eliminate confusion, streamline this process, and reduce friction, keeping the hiring process moving smoothly. Payroll tax registrations doesn't exist in isolation. It often requires foreign qualification, which means registering your business with the new state Secretary of State. The process allows your business to legally operate in another state. It also involves appointing a registered agent to handle official communications and compliance documentation in that state. Using a nationwide registered agent provider like Harbor Compliance simplifies this process significantly. We can serve as your registered agent across all the states and handle entity filing seamlessly. While routine foreign qualifications can still add complexity and ongoing obligations like annual report filings, which we can also offload for you. And since we have experience with these processes in every state, it allows you to take a proactive approach and anticipate these needs up front. This helps you avoid scrambling between HR, accounting, and legal teams and ensures requirements are met without disrupting your business. When foreign qualification is complete, businesses often discover that obtaining license is the next hurdle. Whether you're in a regulated industry or not, many states require general business licenses for all entities. Legal teams, sometimes with the help from outside counsel, are typically involved in this process, but it's another layer of complexity. Again, with a proactive compliance partner like Harbor Compliance that can help you see those challenges coming, you can integrate licensing into your workflow, saving time and reducing stress. Finally, once tax accounts, entity registration, and licenses are sorted, corporate records must be updated. This step often requires legal and executive involvement, as they are the teams typically responsible for managing organizational records. You might be wondering how hiring an employee could trigger updates to your corporate records. Under the Corporate Transparency Act, businesses must keep their corporate details up to date with FinCEN through BOI reporting. If a business foreign qualifies in a new state and their name is unavailable, they may have to use a forced assumed name. While this doesn't happen very often, such name changes and requirements require an updated BOI report. Failing to report these changes promptly can result in costly penalties. In summary, even basic operations like hiring an employee in a new jurisdiction can quickly snowball and require inputs from across the business. By partnering with the right compliance vendor that can assist you across entity, records, licensing, and tax, you stay ahead of the requirements, reduce stress, and avoid last-minute surprises. So that is it for me. I'd like to open the floor for questions. There's a little Q&A feature to share any questions that you have. I'll address as many as time permits. We kind of flew through this, so if we have questions, please go ahead and fire away in there. I'll start looking at those and providing hopefully some answers or some guidelines to where to go to find those answers. If you'd like to learn more about how we can work together or support your organization, please get in touch. As mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, today's session is eligible for continuing education through Earmark. You can use the QR code on your screen now to download the Earmark app. After the session concludes, we'll email out a 5-question quiz. Once you complete the quiz, you'll receive your CPE certificate. I'll throw this up there for now, and then I'm going to go ahead and look at some of the Q&As. Does anyone have any questions at all? If not, we're able to we can end this early if need be. Um, there should be a question and answer area under the three dots where more you could probably be able to answer or that input questions through there. For I mean, if we're registering, we are using the registered agent feature for multiple entities in one state. Is there a way to upgrade the registered agent address? For, um, there's not. Typically for each and every entity that you have registered in the state will need its own um, registered agent address, even though it may be the same for us. It would still have to have that same that address for each and every entity that you have. Jocelyn, I don't know how to give you the mic. So if you want to submit a question that you have in that Q&A section, I'd be able to give you an answer for your question. I'm not sure how to open the floor up for a question. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to. Again, sorry for the darkness and all the noise that was had at this. I don't know how much you could hear, but I had thunder and lightning and rain, and then I had my dog bark at the mailman. So appreciate everybody kind of sticking with me, um, not jumping off once you heard all the ruckus. It's like we have another question here, Mariella. How would considering multi-state compliance for a nonprofit organization differ from private? I'm not I'm not 100% sure on the nonprofit side. Since I'm not kind of over that, I could tell you, if you wanted to get in touch with both, if you have both, we can get in touch with both and kind of show you what the difference is. They are similar state by state registrations, but I think the profit side as the nonprofit is different for that. I don't know the complexities of that. Um, you mind? Yes. Well, this will be emailed after the call as well. Um, I live in the state of Washington, and I have my entity in Wyoming. I work in multiple states. Do not have. Um, I'm going to type this one in. I'm going to send it privately. I don't want that to be. Everyone can hear and see that. All right. Leslie, in California, how to register for a license? I mean, that is depends on what kind of licenses you're going for, what kind of business type it is, whether that is architectural, engineer, construction, if it's just general business, if it's um, looking for GC licenses. It all depends on what the business is. Um, that will trigger you know, what you need for licenses. We're able to do those for you depending on the license, but we also have information um, on our software that would give you everything that you would need to apply for that license. Um, California, I know, is one that they have a lot of independent, depending on what kind of license it is. If it's like a general business license or a general contracting license, things like that, those will be more so at the local levels as well. Um, every other for a remote company, so as I said before, um, at the beginning here, where an employee in a state is a trigger. We see a lot of our current clients register where they intend to do business, which hiring employee does count as doing business. Healthcare, yeah. I mean, we can talk more. It depends on what kind of healthcare. Is it DME? Is it distribution? Um, it all depends on what kind of healthcare it is. And then we can help you out with, what you would need to do for that license. If you want to get in contact with us, you can go ahead and submit um, kind of a questionnaire to us. It will get routed to one of our account executives like myself. We can provide some information, or if you wanted to hop on, a one-on-one meeting to really assess kind of where you're at, where you need to go, how we can help, all that kind of stuff. We can certainly do that. Any other questions? Jocelyn, I'll take your name. Um, and I'll see what I can do. If not, I'll contact you directly. But I'll look through and see what's going on. Um, and I'll get back to you. Shit. For a client who is selling products in multi-states, what is the rule of thumb for registration for sales tax from our business income tax? So, um, if you are selling, so that kind of is that like jump off word, doing business. So if you are doing business in that state, which is selling, physically doing work there, you may have to register your business there. Now I do know that a lot of sales tax, things like that, a lot of companies wait till they hit Nexus for that. So that's something you can look at. The safe side of everything, obviously, is registering with the Secretary of State in every state where you intend to do business, registering for that sales tax and payroll and things like that in those various states where again you plan to do business. So the one thing that I'll say here is Harbor Compliance is a great resource for information on on kind of what the complexities are, what you need to do. The one thing that we can't do is do any type of consulting. So, we can't exactly tell you um, how to do it, what to do there. We can give you guidance. We can give you all of the information that's needed for it. But really, it's up to you, or if you tell us to do it. Um, that's what we'll do. So I just want to make that um, clear that we can't do any consulting. We can give factual information all day long. So I know we got about 10 or so minutes left here for that 45-minute um, mark. Does anybody have any other questions, comments? If not, I'll go ahead and end the meeting. Like I said before, this will be emailed to you. If you do have any questions, you feel free to visit the website, submit a question. Like I said, it will probably get rounded to one of our AEs that will contact you directly. Again, I sorry for the dark background. It's still storming here. I appreciate everybody putting up with me here for the last 30 or so minutes. Go ahead and call it there. Appreciate everybody's time. Have a good rest of your day.